More Brews Mike here again. Just doing an update on the Inmate brew here on the apple one. It's actually ready for. I'm actually going to do the secondary fermentation with the gelatin to clear it up and to let it age a little bit. You don't really have to do that, but I want to make it clear and everything. So. But this is straight from it, and as you can see, it's ready to go. It's on it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come over here, grab my gelatin. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I got a 1/4 of a teaspoon here. I'm going to get some out here. It's a little bit much for just a gallon, but I'm not filling this up all the way. And this is cold water. Just going to kind of sprinkle it around, get it all wet, and let that sit. You let it sit for an hour in cold water. You can, for beer, you use a 1/2 teaspoon per 5 gallons, a teaspoon for 6 gallons of wine. I just pretty much put in 1/4 of a teaspoon for my gallon. And after you soak it in there for an hour in the cold water, you just boil it, get it to a boil, and to get it all dissolved, and then add it to it for the secondary, which I've got an empty container just like this one that's sanitized and all ready to go. I'm going to pour it into it and pour everything in there and let it do its thing. And we'll come back in an hour. Alright guys, it's been about an hour, and I've already went ahead and did the boiling. You just heat it up real fast and just boil it. I'm letting it cool down now, but all you do is get it to a boil and then take it off the boil, let it cool down a little bit. And while it's sitting over there on the stove, I'm going to kind of talk a little bit about the gravities. And I tasted it off camera. Wish I had tasted it on camera. Just kind of got the urge to taste it off camera when we was waiting on the hour. Went ahead and tasted it, and it wasn't bad. It actually surprised me. Because the alcohol was so high, I think it could have been better if the alcohol was a little bit less. Not too much less, but just a little bit. The initial gravity reading of this was 1082, so that gave me approximately around 11% alcohol. It's a little high, so I mean, but it's still it's tasted good. It was unchilled, uncleared, so it still had a little bit of a yeast taste. So hopefully with the clearing and a little bit of chilling, it'll taste a lot better. But it still was not bad. But with a little less alcohol, I think it could be better. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to take my boiled and a little bit chilled gelatin and go ahead. Of course, everything's sanitized. There's my star saying there. Everything sanitized is identical container to that one. We'll go ahead and give it a pour. Okay. Now, as you can see, that's only a little bit of water. You don't want to add too much water, just a little bit. Cover the bottom of the pan. And put your gelatin in there. You don't want a whole lot of water. I was going to use my auto siphon for this, but I kind of got lazy and decided I didn't want to go through the whole process of cleaning and sanitizing it, because later tonight I'm actually going to be siphoning some beer out into a secondary, so I didn't want to go through all that mess. So I'm just going to pour it right in. Most of the sediment is staying in the bottom, which is good, but again, I'm using the clearing, so not to worry. Probably not going to pour all of it in, because the last little bit's going to be real sediment, a lot of sediment in it. Even though I'm using the gelatin to clear it, I just don't want a whole lot in there. So, and that's about good there. Still a lot in there. Bad thing about using the containers like these, I've noticed all the little ridges just collect it. Just collect all that yeast, so it can't fall all the way to the bottom. But as you can see, it didn't. It's still there. A lot of it's still there. So, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take this off. Go ahead, move this out of the way. We don't need that anymore. Put the top on. I'm going to give it a good shake, just to get all that mixed in there, and all the sediment back in the suspension, if any got in here, just to kind of, so that the gelatin can do its thing. Now, what I'm going to do is, I don't know if you really need an airlock at this point or not, but I'm going to go ahead and put one on. And I've already sanitized it again and everything, so put my lid back on, get my airlock here, if I can get, okay, here we go, and we're back on. Of course, that star sand in there, all them little bubbles and everything, it won't hurt it. And that's it. And we'll give it another week or two, and hopefully within a week it should be pretty much well cleared. And then after that, I'll probably put it in a couple bottles, or put it in another container just like this one. I haven't figured out what I want to do yet, but that's really all you do when you want to clear it. It's pretty simple. The gelatin that I got was cheap as well. It was like the yeast energizer. It was about $1.50, maybe $2, and you really can't go wrong with it. So that's all we're going to do for now. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching. As always, subscribe, rate, comment, add any suggestions, or anything like that. So cheers, guys.